I also want to thank the 5 of you who wished me good luck today. I've never gotten that before, so I appreciate that. I have lived in a lot of houses and a lot of states growing up. I have experienced every floor plan you can imagine, from accordion walls separating my brother's half of the room and my half, which was a very important thing, to the most hideous 15-foot-long orange brick arched fireplace. This thing spanned from wall to wall. And when we moved in this house, it was awesome. We each had our own room for the first time. Mine was the smallest by far. It was actually just the master retreat with double doors leading into the master bedroom, but we fixed that quickly. Our kitchen was kind of a joke, and the previous owners must have been colorblind because it had really, really high-quality carpet, really, really high-quality pink carpet, Pepto-Bismol pink carpet, and yellow walls, and really thick orange curtains, but I had my own room. That house was slowly remodeled throughout our time living there. The fireplace and curtains and carpet and wall color and kitchen were all redone. During the model, we discovered how lucky we were we didn't buy it in the 70s. I thought the pink carpet was bad. The stuff we found underneath was just interesting. And our yellow walls I thought was bad. I guess they were neon yellow at one point. We found a spot of that. And that house has a long history to it. That house has been home to my family and I for 20 years, but I know it was a home to people long before us. With all the cosmetic problems in the house and all the work that needed to be done on it, from the second we stepped foot in the house, it wasn't a house anymore, it was our home. It was a place for my family to gather, to spend time with another, to laugh, to cry, to share in each other's company. It was so much more than 4 walls and a roof and a hideous carpet. It has a story, and it carries part of our story. In today's reading, Jesus is offering words of comfort to his disciples. Jesus has been telling them for years, I am going to die. They don't quite seem to get it most of the time, but you can imagine it is unnerving to hear. Now Jesus says, I am going to die, but when that happens, I am going to prepare a place for you to call home. The disciple Thomas thinks this is great, and he really wants to know how he can get there. He wants a roadmap. He wants to know, turn left at the next street, and your destination is on the right. I can relate to that thinking because, you see, I have a way with directions. That is, I usually have no idea where I am going. When I'm driving in an unfamiliar place, there's a good chance I'm getting lost. Even with my smartphone and a GPS device and car navigation systems, I still somehow manage to get lost. All the kids who have been on mission trips with me can attest to this. Did you know that in big cities with skyscrapers, GPS just doesn't really work? It doesn't know what street you're on and what direction you're going. Or if you take a tunnel from New Jersey to New York City, you'll lose your satellite signal and get back just in time to realize you've turned the wrong way and it's near impossible to get going the right way again. On this past summer's mission trip to Boston, we flew in and out of Jamaica, New York, and it's a good thing I really like to get places early because our flight home was leaving early in the morning and we were staying in New Jersey. We loaded up the cars, headed to the airport, went through the tunnel, and yep, I turned the wrong way. No surprise. I knew it was going to happen. Oh well. What was really frustrating is that there were no cars on the road. It was just my car and the car behind me, and all the roads were closed. How were we supposed to get from our hotel to the airport if all the streets were closed but the GPS didn't know that? I kept hearing, recalculating route, over and over and over again. It kept taking me in these huge, huge circles, trying to get me back on the right path that was closed. Eventually, I just started turning randomly, so I had to make a new route to the airport. Long story short, we got there just in time and made our flight back home. But you see, I can sympathize with Thomas in today's gospel reading. He wants that roadmap with clearly spelled out directions. He doesn't want to get lost. You see, Jesus is offering words of comfort to his disciples. He's been telling them over and over again, I'm going to die, but death isn't the end. I am going to prepare a place for you. Jesus' answer may not be a hand-drawn map that Thomas wanted, but it's a map nonetheless. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the way is not a new idea. It has its roots deeply planted in the Old Testament, and specifically the book of Proverbs. Throughout the book of Proverbs, various images are used for wisdom: a path or way, light, precious treasure, a fountain of life, and food for the journey. Jesus' I am sayings attribute these benefits of following wisdom's path to following Jesus. In John 6:35, he says, I am the bread of life. In 8:12, he says, I am the light of the world. In 10:7, he says, I am the gate for the sheep. In 10:11, he says, I am the good shepherd. In 11:25, he says, I am the resurrection and the life. And in 15:1, he says, I am the true vine. Wisdom in the book of Proverbs is often described as the way. The word suggests an action of treading or trampling and calls to mind a path worn by constant use. The implication is that wisdom involves patterns of behavior, not just isolated acts. The purpose of this way is the formation of an interior disposition. This path is viewed as a gift of the guiding presence of God. Jesus himself is a gift from the very heart of God, whose teachings guide us and whose presence sustains and challenges us. We continue throughout our lives to ask again the basic question of, am I on the right track in life? And how can I know God in my life? The answer Jesus gives is both simple and profound. I am the way. We grow into the answer as we live out the months and years of our lives, first wading in it, then swimming. Every time we return to these basic questions, it can be with deepened faith since the last time we asked them. This statement, this roadmap of Jesus, calls us to these questions. But the answer is none of our business. The answer belongs to Jesus. There is nothing we can do to see God. People in the Old Testament tried it when they built the Tower of Babel, trying to reach up to God, trying to force physical access to him, and it didn't end well. God comes to us and forces a physical access to us through Jesus. There is no way to God except through him. Nothing we can do. Jesus is God. This is a point I have been trying to make with our confirmation students for the past couple of weeks. We don't deserve God's love because we sin. And it is amazing to see responses to that statement. It goes against everything we are taught by the world. If you try hard enough, you can do anything. And that's true, except deserve God's love. I get lots of, well, when you say you can't be perfect, but what if you're completely alone and no one else is around? Can you be perfect then? Or can't you go a long time without sinning? They all have the same underlying question. Can't I do it on my own? Isn't my power enough? But I don't want to have to rely on another. But why not? Jesus is telling us, come on now. You know this. I've taught you this. We've been through this before. can mean path or road, or it can be used to mean way of life or practice. In the sense of passage, our journey with Jesus, spiritual and otherwise, is affirmed. Life with him is not a destination or an accomplishment, or a victory won, as much as it is a way of becoming and being. A transformation happens. A change of heart from troubled to peace-filled embraces those disciples as they learn along their way that Jesus has come with them and goes ahead to prepare a place. A destination like this changes everything. Companionship like this changes everything. Jesus also says he is the truth. No one comes to the Father except through me. This can be a very polarizing passage, and mountains of books have been written on these 9 words. In Jesus, God the Father is uniquely and intimately known. We have a God of all power who can do anything and everything, who created everything we see, who creates every little bit of who we are. A God who is so filled with love for us, he chooses to, he wants to come down and live with us, to walk with us, to eat with us, to teach us, to love us, and to take on all the troubles with our bodies, the pain they can cause us, the suffering he goes through for us. The truth is God didn't have to do that. The truth is God could have chosen to ignore us, but the truth is God is love. We come to the Father through Jesus because Jesus shows us what and who the Father is. Jesus led by example his whole life long. Jesus says, "Whoever has seen me has seen the Father." God comes to us in Jesus. It is no wonder we can't know God without knowing him. He is the roadmap God gives us, a life to model ours after, one of love, service, and sacrifice. The third part of the statement, I am the life. We're still celebrating the season of Easter. Our paraments on the altar and on the pulpit here are still white, and we are ready to proclaim the risen Lord. We spend 40 days in Lent getting ready for Easter, then the next 50 days are celebrated as the Easter season. Yet we tend to lose sight of that. He is risen, let's move on. No more lilies, no more flower crosses. Let's get back to our regular week. Every day should be a new Easter for us. Christ is risen. I was wondering if you would say that. I am the life. This is the Easter promise summed up in 4 simple words. We cannot know the way without Jesus. We cannot know the Father without Jesus, and we cannot know life without Jesus. Our life is full in Christ. This world will end. And without Jesus, that would be it, and that would be rather depressing. But with Jesus, the end is only the beginning. With Jesus, life is eternal, and it is amazing, and it is wonderful. I take heart in a story about John Quincy Adams. In his later years, Adams spoke about growing old. He said, "I inhabit a weak, frail, decaying tenement, battered by the winds and broken in on by the storms, and for all I can learn, the landlord does not intend to repair." Though he may have held out no hope that he would not die, he approached his own death with an acceptance and a remarkable lack of concern. When the elderly statesman fast approached his 80th birthday, he succinctly related his philosophy of death. The occasion happened as he hobbled down the street one day in his favorite city of Boston, leaning heavily on a cane, and a friend suddenly approached and slapped him on the shoulder. "Well, how's John Quincy Adams this morning?" the friend inquired. The old man turned slowly, smiled, and replied, "Fine, sir, fine. But this old tenement that John Quincy lives in is not so good. The underpinning is about to fall away, the thatch is all gone off the roof, and the windows are so dim John Quincy can hardly see out anymore. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't surprise me if before the winter's over, he had to move out. But as for John Quincy Adams, he was never better, never better." These promises Jesus gives us, that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and that he is going to prepare a place for us, these are not future promises. These are not, well, I'll get to it later when I have time promises. These are very real promises made to us now. We are to follow him as the way, the truth, and the life, and model our lives after his, And these rooms he has prepared for us, they are here right now. We are living in them. Pepto pink carpet, yellow walls, orange curtains, and all. We are to use them for his will. We are to do our best with them and to wear them out until the thatch on the roof is gone and the windows are so dim we can't see out anymore. And when we have to move out of these rooms, there are new ones awaiting us, better ones, perfect ones. We are given a roadmap to this wonderful home. It is a life with Jesus, and the directions are this: live your life with him. Amen.